Yeah, Jay Pelosky has had a long career in investment banking. He was a Morgan Stanley strategist for a number of years. He's worked all over the world, and he has a really interesting perspective. And he's one of these guys who has this ability to coin just seemingly an infinite number of phrases to express complex ideas in really simple terms. We're going to talk today about what he calls the tripolar world, and I hope to get time to sit and talk to him about something he calls generation passive, because both of them, I think, are important to understand. They're really kind of shaping the landscape of global geopolitics, global economics, and financial markets. So let's sit down with Jay and pick his brains about those two things.
The way I look at it is I've named each region.
Yeah.
I've given a name to each one. So let me go through those very quickly. The first is Asia, which I call the proactive region, because I argue that China, particularly through the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, right, in the One Belt, One Road, or OBOR infrastructure project, is really driving integration in Asia. And the other part of the Asian integration is the integration of ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which I think is the big story, and the big growth story anyway, in Asia for the next 10 years, which has huge investment implications if you think about it. One of the things I'm really excited about, for example, just as a quick aside, is financial consolidation in ASEAN, right? You're going to have probably 3 or 4 regional big banks as opposed to 2 or 3 national big banks in every country. So huge opportunity, I believe, in the next couple of years. And then, of course, the icing on the cake for Asian integration led by China is the U.S. decision to walk away from TPP, right? The Trans-Pacific Partnership. We basically have given China the opportunity to lead in Asia, and I think, therefore, the proactive region has been, and is likely to continue to be, Asia. The reactive region has been Europe. Right? If you think about Europe, firefighting really since 2008, 2009, right? Every time they turn around, there's a crisis, whether it's Greece or the banks or Brexit or what have you. And now, however, I think the combination of Brexit and President Trump and some of his America First rhetoric has actually led to a concentration of the European mind writ large in a realization that they need to pull together to move forward. And so actually I have been arguing that Brexit and Trump together are super bullish for European integration. And that case got even stronger with the election of French President Macron, the likely re-election of German Chancellor Merkel, the kind of reinstitution of the Franco-German motor, which has been the traditional way for Europe to move forward. Those 2 big countries have to be in the same space, and they clearly are. I actually call them the M&M team, Merkel and Macron. And so I think Europe is really an exciting opportunity. It has a lot of slack in the economy. The banking sector is finally being fixed and is years behind the U.S. fixing of the banking sector. But things are clearly happening, right, with Spain and Italy addressing their weaker banks. So you have economic slack, you have political recovery, you have financial sector revival, you have a cheap currency. So to me, Europe has moved from reactive Europe to resurgent Europe. And to me, Europe is probably the most attractive region over the next 3 to 5 years. I think there's tremendous upside in Europe. The one place where they have to focus is in the technology space. If you look at the top 10 tech companies, none of them are in Europe, right? They're in either China or the United States. The good news for Europe is that through the digital single market, the DSM project, which has already been on the table for a couple of years, they can create that kind of tech capacity and be a really big opportunity for the next 5 years.